I'm going on my 5th mission trip build with Casas for Cristo, and it's time for me to prepare what I'm going to take while I'm in Mexico. Hi y'all, Kelly Brook and Carnivore here. Welcome to the channel. Yes, it is that time of the year again. I am heading to Juarez, Mexico on a mission trip build. This is going to be my 5th build through a organization called Casas for Cristo. I will link that description if you want to know more about what they do. I know some people will say about, why are we building homes in Mexico? Why aren't we not building them here in the United States? Well, one thing is there's a lot of laws, regulations, rules that we have to go by through these city municipals and the law here in the country. We got to have the bill certain way. And so there is organizations like Habitat Humanity and other organizations that does this. Casas for Cristo is an organization biblically based. They based it on the foundation of Jesus Christ, and it was founded about 1993, and they started building homes for families in Juarez, Acuna, Guatemala, I think, Nicaragua, and Dominican Republic. They've been building since 1993. I am so blessed, and I'm so grateful to be part of this. This is my passion. I am in the trades. I do a lot of maintenance in apartment community, and I want to use my expertise and stuff to be the hands and feet of Jesus. So this was an opportunity to serve. When the Holy Spirit spoke through this, through my mind, says, you need to do this. You have the skills, go. So I had to go. And after my first build since 2022, I have a passion every year to go. And this is my 5th. The reason why I am preparing myself, and I know in the last video I did preparing for the Cunha trip in December, many of the people that commented saying, you can get meat in Mexico, you can find local restaurants. Well, it's not that easy because we're not going for vacation. This is a working mission trip. We have a compound where we're staying. It's a really nice compound where we're staying in Juarez. I was there on my first trip. It's called the Shock. It is a soldier that requested this if he passes away to use his funds, his life insurance, whatever, through the military to build this. So Casas for Cristo has a place to have people stay. So why they're building these homes in Mexico? It is a very nice facility, but they have people that cook for them. And sometimes the food, it's just like here in the United States. It's very sad, SAD, standard American diet, or sad diet. It's a sad Mexican diet. And it's just pretty much processed foods. They do probably cook some things there, but sometimes we get the processed foods. And when we go out, we pretty much pack a sack lunch. And you have breads that's full of, grains and stuff like that. Well, as carnivores tries to stay away. Well, I want to make sure I prepare it. Could I fast for these 3 days? Yeah, I could fast, but I'm not going to, because I want to make sure that I have what I need. So what I do is I have some foods that I'm going to take on the build site that is prepared. One of the things that I do take is this right here. They're from Aldi's. They are a 0 sugar. Now, I like the jalapenos. This smoked sausage is pretty much, if you read the ingredients, there is some, the spices and seasonings plant-based. And the jalapenos in there is plant-based. But it is very clean, has no sugars. The only thing you might want to, if you're cautious and don't get them, is colored with caramel and carmine. That's the casing. But other than that, it's pretty much got clean ingredients. I eat them. I don't have no issues. If you do, if you're wary about this product, you don't want it, you want it clean, go get the chomps. The chomps are just as good. I like them, but they can be pretty pricey. So this right here is $7.49. That's why I get them. And this is what I'm going to take as long as these pork rinds. And there's only two brands that I like. The rest of them I don't care for. This is the brand Clancy's that you get from Aldi. Pretty much pork skins, fat, and salt. That's all it is. Very clean. I like them because they taste. There's another one that I like that's at a local grocery store in Moberly that's called Bratcher's Market, Moberly, Missouri, I'm sorry, that I get that I really like. They taste really good. Other than that, some of the other ones, I'm not a big fan of them because they kind of have a different taste. And I'm going to take those. It's like having potato chips. And then this is my meat because sometimes, we have a sack lunch. It's very, very American sad. Sometimes the families do cook us something. And there might be something that is carnivore there that the families eat. I might eat that on the build side. But other than that, I'm going to stay pretty much focused on being disciplined on my nutrition. I know on my last trip I ran out. I made some I made some dehydrated brisket. I did not like how it turned out. It was very tough. It didn't taste that great. I ended up throwing it away. I did have one meal in the 300 days that I've carnivore. I had one meal that I cheated on, but I went right back because I could have fasted that day, but I was hungry, and I'm like, one meal is not going to hurt. Now, I'm sure that I'm going to get dinged from some of the trolls out there that want to be the carnivore police, but it doesn't matter. The thing is not to give up. Some people, when they get to this point, they give up because there's hopeless. But the main thing, if you cheat, get right back on the next day. Don't say I'm going to start 2 days or I'm going to start here. You start right immediately. If you cheat, start right immediately. But this time, I want to make sure that I am fully disciplined when it comes to this. So, not only that, I always carry my Redmond sea salt with me. I also, being here, I got to have a lot of electrolytes because it's going to be hot. So, I usually, and I'm not sponsored by them because my channel's not sponsored. It's a small channel, but I do use the Element Raw. I do use the Element. I like these. The Element, the flavored sparkling water. And I know there was a controversy back, a while back in the wintertime or a year ago about the maltodextrin, which I know Element's working on that because they got to have some kind of emulsifier or something in with the mix. But when it comes to these, they don't have that. It's just the flavor. And this is something that I can have a treat with my Topo Chico. I am taking some Topo Chico because there's a refrigerator at the compound. I can put this, chill it while I'm out there on the build. When I get back in the evening while we're doing our devotion, we're fellowshipping there at the compound, I can enjoy something nice because they're going to bring Coca-Cola. Even though Coca-Cola tastes different in Mexico, it's Coca-Cola. It's got a lot of sugar. I'm staying away from that. I'm staying away from a lot of the sugar. I'm staying away from the carbs. I'm going to stay very clean as much as I can without cheating. And I want to make sure that when I cross that border that I'm not, I messed up again. It only takes one time. One thing about being a carnivore, it's not a fad diet. It is a properly human diet that has been nutrient dense. We've been eating this. I believe we're omnivores. We can have some plants time to time. Earlier I have a strawberry bed out. I just do it within season. Some strawberries ripen. I had a few of those. But I'm carnivore, and I'm staying this way because this is the way I was sustainable. I wasn't sustainable with keto because I fell off. Not only that, I ate all those treats and cookies and the breads and stuff, which is packed full of seed oils and trash and chemicals and stuff, and it's just a money market. So carnivore, to me, it's the most stable diet out there because it helps me stay disciplined. I don't try to fall off. Yes, I do miss bread. I do miss the cookies and stuff like that. What I don't miss is what it did to me. And staying carnivore, it's going to help me thrive even more. My body's going to heal more. My body is going to to heal of all of the arthritis and slowly over time. I may not be 100%. I may not be able to run, but I noticed in 300 days versus it was 300 days ago, I was in a bad shape that it was affecting my job. And now I can do 10,000, 11,000, 13,000 steps a day with minimum amount of pain. And I don't really have the pain. It's more stiffness. And I notice the benefits that are improving, but if I go back or go off and go the wrong way, I'm going to be right back to square one. And I'm not doing that. I'm going to continue to thrive. So that's why I prepare for myself when I come to Mexico. Now, when I'm on the road between home and Texas or to the border of Mexico, yeah, I can eat, carnivore. I can find those places to eat carnivore. When I come back, it's the same way. But while I'm there, I'm not going to go find a restaurant because that's kind of dangerous, especially when you're not familiar with the area. So this is why I prepare myself. So now what I am going to prepare is I got bacon. I got this at my local Dollar General in my home small town where I live, and it's about $5.50 a pack. Because I didn't want to go all the way into Moberly, Missouri, to Aldi's and get it for $3.99. I don't want to go all the way there. So I'm going to take some bacon and I'm going to lay it in a parchment paper on a cookie sheet. I like it in the oven. I do it for about 20 minutes. And I'll show you in the videos what I do on this. And I'm going to take about probably 3 packs of it. And then I got this 10-pound roll of ground 80-20 ground beef because I feel that if you have more fat, the better. Fattier, the better. Fat, our brains need fat. Our brain is made of fat, and our brain thrives on fat. It does not thrive on sugar or carbs. It thrives on fat, and I want to make sure it's fatty, the better. So I am going to use my dehydrator, and I pretty much the recipe that I'm going to use is pretty much just going to be salt. I am going to put jalapenos in it. I have jalapenos from my garden when I did do a garden from the last year or two that I need to use up. I like a little heat and I like a little jalapeno flavor. I will do that. You don't have to do it if you want to make the jerky. So pretty much what it is I take a tablespoon of salt, and I'm going to use regimen sea salt. Optional if you want to add the jalapenos. I'm going to take a pint jar of my jalapenos, drain it, puree them, and then it calls for 2 pounds of ground beef. I got 10 pounds here. I probably just I want to take only half of it, maybe 6 or 5 pounds of it, or 6 pounds of it, make into jerky. So that way, when I eat, when I'm full, I'm comfortably stuffed, and I'm going to be satisfied. And this roll here cost me, when I bought it at the local Bratcher's Market grocery store in Moberly, Missouri, and I paid $44.12. And it varies whatever the price is of that day, but for 10 pounds, that's pretty cheap. And it's a lot cheaper than dehydrating brisket or ribeye or any kind of other steaks. But I want to use ground beef this time because I want to make it a little more affordable. I also have a little jar that I have in my bag. I love this Malden sea salt. It's flaky sea salt. It reminds me a lot, if I wanted, those saltine crackers. I feel like I'm eating those saltine crackers, and all I'm doing is eating the salt. And when I'm not hungry, but I feel that, or if I want salt, I can use this. I can eat this in my salt. And I usually just lick my finger, put it in the jar, and then I just eat it off, a finger. But I want to make sure, it's going to be dirty. I want to make sure I have, my hands clean when I do it, because I do not want to get sick. Other than that, that's pretty much all I'm going to do. So let's get started. I want to read to you from James. I will let you know about this book in the Bible. It's the book of James. It is mean, it is rude, it is straight to the point. I hate this book, but it's my most favorite book because it really speaks. It speaks a lot of truth. So I'm going to read these verses here, and it's about seeking wisdom. We're going to start in James 1, verse 5. Um, I'm reading in the New Living Translation, so here we go. Verse 5, chapter 1 of James. If you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. But when you ask him, be sure your faith is in God alone. Do not waver, for a person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Such people should not accept it and to receive anything from the Lord. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world, and they are unstable in everything they do. You want to make sure that you have faith alone in God, what he done for you. Even the most obedient Christian, I'm not going to consider myself obedient. I'm broken and busted, but you want to make sure that your faith is in God alone. Do not be loyal to God and do not be loyal to the world. Otherwise you're not going to get nowhere. And the one thing I'm going to leave here with you all to kind of think about is heaven and hell. I believe that heaven and hell is only 12 to 16 inches apart. That's the measurement between your brain and your heart, your physical heart and your physical brain. So you can have all the knowledge, but if your heart's not there and your heart is with the world and you have all the knowledge of the faith and you don't do what you need to do, you don't want to hear these words. And I'm going to leave these last words to you. This is Jesus. He said this in Matthew 23, Matthew 7, verse 23. Away from me, you lawbreakers. I never knew you. You don't want to hear those words. So as I am waiting for the jerky to get done, I will be back in a few hours.
6.5 hours later.
And there you go. 80-20 ground beef that's been into beef jerky, bacon, and then I got this pork rinds and packaged beef sticks. So let's break down the cost, what it is. We're going to start with what I made with the 80-20 ground beef. I got this roll at a grocery store in Moberly, Missouri called Ratcher's Market. I got the whole roll for 10-pound roll for $44.12. If you divide that by 10, that gets you $3.67. And I did 6 pounds. So comes out to $22.08. I'm not counting the spices and the salt and the jalapenos that I pureed because I already had that on hand. There's 3 packages of bacon. I got it at my local Dollar General because I didn't want to go all the way to town and get it cheaper. This is costs a little more than Aldi. I got this packs of bacon for $5.50 a pack. I did 3 of them at 400 degrees on parchment paper on a cookie sheet. I put it in the oven for about 18 to 20 minutes. And 3 packs is $16.50. These pork rinds I like, and this other one I like. They're my favorite ones. I get this one here from Aldi, the Clancy, And this one's called Backroad Country. I get that at the Bratcher's Market there in Moberly, Missouri. This one's $3.99. This one's $2.99. Then I got 4 packets of the zero sugar beef sticks that I got at Aldi's. They're the jalapeno. You can get the plain ones. That way, if I either eat these on the road or when I'm on the job site without having to take these, because the bacon and the beef jerky that I made, I'm going to leave at the compound to eat for my meal. And the pork rinds and the beef sticks are out on the job site. I got 4 of these. I may not even eat all 4 of them, but I went ahead and bought 4, which that equals $7.49 a pack, and it cost me $66. But I'll probably end up taking 1 to 2 packs back. I may even share one with my daughter because she'll be with me. So for a 7-day total, for a 7-day trip, with what I bought and what I make, comes out to be $11.56 for a 7-day total. That's from time I leave to the time I get back. Now I'll probably get a couple meals, on the way down and maybe a couple of suppers. But if I get hungry, I may just eat this instead of, when they stop for lunch. If you ask me, why didn't I just make it all and just take it down? Well, the reason why I do this, because when you go across the border into Mexico, you have no problem. But if you're coming back, I have to throw what I prepared and made away, or I have to eat it up. These, as long as I don't open the seal, I can bring these back across the border. It is the law for the United States because of diseases and bugs and stuff like that. That's the reason why they're very tight. That's why I want to make sure I'm prepared to package it away. So there you go. $111.56 for my entire 7-day trip to eat. And like always, let's be kind, be positive, have a good attitude, encourage and support one another. Y'all have a great day. God bless.